What is going on, everybody? This is episode 120 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. How you guys doing today? I am here with my co-host. Introduce yourself, please.
Hey, it's Mary. We're back. We're live again.
Are you more relaxed today?
Totally
more relaxed. Yeah, we're working it out, guys. If you guys think that this audio sounds good, we were having a technical issue when we were setting up stream today. I think it sounds all right, but we will find out as soon as we get word from our guest today, who is Hannah Claire Brimlow. I was gonna say introduce yourself, but I just introduced you.
Yeah, hi, I'm Hannah Claire Brimlow. I'm a writer for timcast.com, and I think the recurring guest on the show.
Yes, our most frequent of recurring guests. We're working on lightning your workload here. We're going to hopefully at a certain point start having guests on Fridays.
Wow, I'm not enough for you. Wow.
See, I can't win. So first she tells me she's
spinning
like,
this narrative like nobody's business,
yeah.
And it's because it's her job.
Yeah.
Amber Heard's team could take a lesson from you, my friend.
This is how I'm applying by appearing on this new live podcast. No, but in all seriousness, I love being here. Congrats on going live, day 2. And yeah, I'm always grateful to be back, even when I give you a hard time.
Yes, we are working on it. Guys, we just want to let you know, yesterday we were talking about Super Chats. If you do Super Chat $5 or more, and you will actually basically assault the camera or us with the money that gets shot out at everybody, and it is the funniest thing in the world. I'm not able to not laugh when that happens, and Hannah Claire has yet to see that happen. So my hope is
it's
that
going to be so jarring for her because it's pointed.
Yeah.
They're pointed right in her direction.
Yes,
they're not going to hit her straight up, but
Grips chair nervously.
Yeah,
not prepared. For
yeah,
this
just
at all.
just so you guys know, it's going to switch between me and Brett, or at least that's what's supposed to happen.
We're working on it. We're
I feel
getting
like you
figured out.
shouldn't tell them. Let it be a surprise for all of us. Let them learn as I
I
learn.
mean, it is a surprise for us. So.
Yes, we're working on it as we go. So right now we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about more Disney censorship because Disney is fantastic at doing that. And I have some comparisons I want to make to Netflix. And it's become very common right now for everybody to kind of hate on Netflix, which makes perfect sense. But I want to show where Netflix may want to try and learn their lesson as opposed to all these other companies that don't seem to want to do that. But then we've also got Ezra Miller is back in the news because he's always in the news, which is very, very funny. And then we've got Amber Heard and some more stuff there to do with her role being pared down in Mira. And Hannah Claire is laughing at me right now. Yes,
I'm always laughing at you, Brett, but I'm laughing with you.
Thank you. We got that. We got Podluck. We got a bunch of other stuff. So if you guys are ready, do you want to just get started?
We're ready. This is just another good old episode of PCC. We're talking about the same.
Ready?
Yes, I'm totally
people.
ready.
It does feel that way.
Over
Yeah,
again.
can I just say that you are the ultimate Ezra Miller fanboy?
I'm not.
I am convinced that you are just doing this to make me
No,
annoyed.
he went silent for a week.
Hawaii doesn't think so.
Then the body cam footage came out, and it's how are we not gonna cover that?
Yeah, I don't know what to do about the body cam footage. So that's this one today is actually more egregious. The other one was kind of just him acting, kind of ranting. This one is more like he's actually threatening someone, which is
Are we
kind of
starting with Ezra Miller?
No,
Should
we're gonna
save
do Disney first. So we're just gonna go ahead and get right into it. So here we go. So it says let's see right here. Let me pull this up, and we've got it says Disney Plus censors anti-white racial slur from Marvel short All Hail the King. I don't know if you guys ever saw this. It was on Thor: The Dark World bonus features. But Disney did this thing where they were doing shorts for a while, companion pieces for different things to do with.
Thank you.
Oh, the other thing.
What was that?
Hannah Claire loved it.
I actually
Thank
jumped.
you.
So what we're going to do is for Super Chats, we're going to try and read them at the end of each segment. That's what we're going to try and do. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's keep talking.
My
So,
heart is racing.
are you okay?
Oh, God.
Did that scare you?
Yes. I don't know why. It was,
It was scaring Dane
reaction.
too, but I think it's just the fact that you're sitting in the right in the crosshairs of it.
It is kind of right at Hannah Claire, and it looks like it's about to
Bring it on.
get her.
I'm ready.
Yes.
That was good to know.
So yes, so I don't know. It's I don't feel as bad because it's right next to me, so I don't really have to worry about it happening to me. Thank goodness.
So what was Disney doing with these shorts?
So basically they were companion pieces between movies, and this one says in the latest instance of streaming platforms making changes to their Marvel content, Disney Plus has censored the utterance of an anti-white racial slur from the fake Mandarin. It's a fake Mandarin-centric short film called All Hail the King. It's basically after he's been arrested from the situation in Iron Man 3, he is then then kind of they show this thing of him in prison.
Who is he?
He's a character that was the bad guy. He was like the faux bad guy in Iron Man 3, played by Ben Kingsley. So it says, released in 2014 as a special feature included in the physical home release of Thor: The Dark World, and the second of Marvel's now defunct one-shot series of the MCU. Tie-in films. All Hail the King takes place after the events of Iron Man 3 and features the aforementioned Trevor Slattery as portrayed by actor Sir Benjamin Kingsley. I don't know if it's Ben. My brother's name is Ben. It's not short for Benjamin, so I could actually have gotten that wrong. In prison for his perceived role as the head of the Ten Rings. Upon his arrival at Seagate Prison, which once held Luke Cage, Slattery's list of illegal deeds soon finds him idolized by fellow criminals and eventually amasses a following of dedicated followers within the facility. At one point during his stay, an absent-minded Slattery spills like his lunch tray on somebody, and the guy gets very mad. The inmate's name is White Power, so that's very,
his name.
very, very on the nose, as you can imagine. So it says
we don't want there to be any questioning what's going on.
It's like you might as well start a gang called the Bad Guy Group. Yeah. Like that would be what it would be
the
called.
Enemies.
Yes, yeah. So it
Marvel launches a new movie called Villains.
That's what they should just call it. They just call it. It says, a short-tempered Dave then proceeds to threaten Slattery over his unofficial bodyguard, a black man named Herman, played by Lester Spate, to lead a charge of the actor's followers to his defense. This is where Disney made their edit. So basically what happened is the guy says, in the original cut of All Hail the King, he rushes to Slattery's side. Herman can be heard aggressively calling out to Dave, hey. I don't know if we can actually say. You can see it on screen if you can see it. I don't know if you guys can read that. I don't know if we're actually allowed to say it.
It is a slur for white people.
It is a slur for white people.
It's something
that rhymes with slacker.
On.
Yes.
I'm just gonna say it.
I don't know technically if this is something that's allowed on YouTube. It's kind of these things are always ambiguous. But to me, this is one of those things where.
Thank you.
This is one of those things where I don't know like whether it's something that I care about, because I've been, like I mentioned yesterday, I've been rewatching The Wire. And in season 2 of The Wire, there is basically the idea is like it's taking place down at the docks. The whole theme of season 2 is the death of the middle class. And there is a slur for Polish people that is said very frequently in that season that, it doesn't bother me. Like, you're censoring the work of the artist.
Weren't there other slurs, too?
Oh, yeah. Like, there's a whole lot
Just
of, like...
pretty much any slur you can think of.
It was a different time, as they say.
It was a different time.
It was a very different time.
So do you think Disney was right to censor this
No,
slur,
I don't.
or-
I don't. I think it's extremely stupid.
So do you think that they should not censor any race-related slur?
I don't think that it should. The idea is that why is it ending up on Disney? Like, Disney owns majority stake in Hulu. It would make more sense for them to.
Thank you.
It would make more sense for them to do this like on Hulu, where there's a lot less. When you go on Disney Plus, parents are kind of expecting it to be family friendly because that's the Disney brand. But if you're going to put the stuff on Disney Plus, what's the point of doing so if it's going to be censored if you own majority stake in the other company as well? And I think Netflix is kind of learning their lesson here when it comes to their employees, because as much as we want to trash Netflix, and people have been trashing Netflix a lot lately, mainly due to this, there was the memo that came out about basically their stock dropped hugely. I almost said hugely. Is hugely a word?
Yes.
Hugely?
Not the
Bigly?
best word.
Bigly's not a word.
Bigly.
But okay, so the idea is that
it dropped tremendously.
So Netflix is
such a
learning
writer.
Netflix is learning their lesson, hopefully. It'll take time to turn that around, and I don't trust Netflix as far as I can throw them. But the idea is that as a corporation, if they want to make money, they need to do that by actually making stuff that people want to see. And Disney continuing to censor stuff just proves that I don't think that they're really paying attention to the fact that this could have easily gone over to Hulu and nobody would have cared. You're still putting your same Marvel properties, which are Disney subsidiaries, or Marvel's a subsidiary of Disney. It's still going out. You're just not causing stuff like this to come out, because every time it comes out, I call it out here mainly because if you don't buy physical media, you're going to lose out on a whole ton of content. There was a previous situation from Marvel when they first moved the Marvel shows over to Disney Plus, where they edited a bunch of scenes in one episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier to remove blood and what is like, I guess, kind of gore. Like you see like I believe it was like a pole go through like somebody's chest and like pin them to like a what do you call it? Like a trailer bed or something like that, or like on the docks. So they edited that so that it looks more ambiguous, and then they edited a shot of somebody looking obviously dead, where they put his they closed in the shot. He's like very much dead. There's blood on his chest and his eyes are open, and then they edited it to be like there's no blood on his chest, and then his eyes are closed. So it's like he could be asleep. Who knows?
Okay.
So that is like, and when they do that, it's like you're never gonna know whether what you're watching now is going to be what it was in 10 years. You're gonna go nuts.
It confuses me that they continue to go back and do these edits and these they make these censorship judgments and expect nobody to notice. Like, it's obviously drawing more attention to it than ever would have been on it otherwise.
See, I think it's more unusual to me or confusing that this whole movie went through production, right? Somebody wrote this line into the movie, and then they rehearsed it, and then they did a table read, and then they cast someone, and he learned his lines, and it's been there for a long time. It's like after the fact, they're like, wait, we've got to take that out. Like, I feel like it's
But there's just, it seems like they're going back and like scrambling to delete anything that's even approaching like questionable in the new ethics of our day.
I'm surprised they didn't catch it beforehand, right?
Well, but when this was made,
back when this was made, there was nothing to catch because people were less insane and neurotic back then.
When was this made?
2014.
So I mean, we were living in different times.
That was like right
then.
on the precipice of when everything started.
I listed as
downhill.
Ghostbusters 2016 is kind of the start of all of this in media. I mean, I was like,
really
the very, very obvious, blatant stuff. It was clearly creeping in beforehand. Yes,
but like
2016.
2015 was really like the beginning of whatever you want to call it, like the culture war.
Can I ask, do you feel like this is because it's a anti-white racial slur?
No, I don't.
It made it through the writer's room? Because I don't think you could have done the same thing for another ethnic group.
You don't think?
2014.
In 2024. No, she's saying like they wouldn't have been able to say something disparaging about the somebody of another race.
Even if it's to make the story more accurate to reality, you don't think they would have? I think
it's interesting that they are like when you open the story and said this is what we're talking about. I think it's interesting because it gives Disney the stance that like we're not going to tolerate it from any racial group, right?
Yeah.
And that narrative I think has been established for minority groups, but I don't think it's always true for the way we talk about white actors or white slurs.
I mean, I guess
I don't want them to censor
that they're not going to do a double standard, but also at the same time, like you're telling stories of a lower quality because they don't relate to reality
I think that there is,
anymore.
It goes back to this, like I asked Brett, like, would you want them to censor everything or censor nothing? And I do think that, like, especially depending on the movie, using racial slurs, like, while they are, hurtful or not appropriate in a lot of contexts, like, the reality is some people do use them. And if you're creating an authentic world in a movie where they are used,
especially in a place where criminals and, like, basically like the rejected people of society you're going to act like they have some kind of sanitized language with each other.
It's not accurate. It takes away from the authenticity of the world they're creating. On the other hand,
it doesn't let you suspend your disbelief.
Right. Or are they trying to have that's not as important as maintaining the standard to the audience that no racial slurs are tolerated under any circumstances. I don't have an answer for this. It's just kind of curious to see what line Disney is trying to walk.
It is also funny that like every time this happens, they change it. Back when this happened with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode, they also did this with Luke Cage and the Punisher. They edited out the Stan Lee tributes at the end of there. I don't remember why for the Luke Cage one. It was for the actor Reggie Cathy, who had passed away, who was in that show. He's fantastic. He's actually in The Wire because I keep talking about The Wire because it's my favorite show to rewatch every year. They edited out the Stan Lee tribute at the end of The Punisher, and they edited out the Reggie Cathy one at the end of Luke Cage. I don't know why they edited out the Luke Cage one. I know that people said that they edited out the Stan Lee one because they felt like a tribute to Stan Lee after these scenes of like horrific violence in the finale of The Punisher felt like it didn't fit. And nobody actually, like, until people called them out, they just, like, what they did is, like, they just go, oh, it was an accident. We did not mean to do that. It says, in March, the company was found to have censored the third episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but then it says, not even a week later, Disney was discovered to have edited the in memoriam tribute to Stan Lee and Reggie Cathy. I don't know if it's pronounced, I keep saying Cathy, but it could be Cathay. I thought it was spelled differently here, but somebody could correct me on that. For the final episodes of The Punisher and Luke Cage, respectively. Like the other episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the original cuts of these two episodes have since been restored. As of writing, Marvel has yet to comment on the censorship of All Hail the King. Basically, they said that it was down to like because they were going to edit something else, and it magically happened in post. Like it magically happened on air. Or I'm not sorry. So like
No,
magically
we're on
happened
air.
on the
That's
server.
impressive.
Yes. So it says Disney claimed that the alternate cut of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier was accidentally uploaded in an attempt to correct a credit. So in an attempt to correct text on a screen, they somehow managed to change CGI, change someone's eyelids, and then they're like, oh, well, that could happen to anyone.
It just happens.
It's just magical.
It's
Who
a
knows?
glitch.
Yeah,
It was a mistake.
it was a
He
mistake.
did a keyboard smash and it just happened.
They're like just
Oops.
right. They're literally using the "we're boomers, we don't know what happened" excuse. Like I can't
The
say.
fact that
who
they know they
knows?
have that
It's
in
bad.
their sleeve.
It magically got edited. It got magically uploaded to a server. It got magically cut into the original cut of the film, and then it got magically thank you. And then it got magically put into the new cut of things, and that's what it was. And that's just we're supposed to just buy that. And so I say buy physical media. The thing is, Netflix, who seems to be learning their lesson, telling employees to not, if you don't like working on projects that you might have offended sensibilities by, maybe Netflix isn't the right company for you. Their stock is tanking right now, but it's possible that could rebound if they actually stick true to their beliefs. But you can actually, I don't know if you can buy physical Netflix media from the originals. I know you cannot with
Like you mean Netflix original content?
Yes, I don't know if you can buy Netflix original media on DVD or Blu-ray. I know that with Disney, obviously you can buy whatever they release there, but Marvel Netflix never went to DVD, so you can't find. You would have
There
had.
isn't a DVD. You'd have to burn the copy as soon as it's.
You might have had
created.
to be a pirate like Johnny Depp and do something that you're not supposed to do if you were going to do that, which you shouldn't do. We do not advocate for that. That is bad.
Endorse
That is
this
bad.
behavior.
So I'm going to call this out every time this happens because it's kind of dystopian to think that like 2 years from now you could be watching a scene from a movie and be like, I could have swore that looked differently before, and then you kind of go nuts because you're just like, I don't know if that's what I saw, because I think about that sometimes. I rewatch things and I remember them very differently from when I was a kid just because so much time has passed. Now imagine the stuff is actually changing.
Yeah.
I think that's intentional. You're not supposed to trust your own experiences, your own interpretations of the media you consumed, and ultimately they want you to fully trust their authority.
Yeah, they're the arbiters of what you're supposed to actually
as the arbiters of truth.
Yep.
And
I would say too, this is not always an effective strategy for media companies. I know I've referenced it on the podcast before, but a couple weeks ago, a NASCAR driver he had to go to sensitivity training because he is friends with a guy in the race, and he tweeted a clip of Family Guy that had like an Asian driver stereotype, and that clip no longer exists in any streamed recording of Family Guy, but it does exist on YouTube. And so the meme version that he tweeted is clipped from YouTube. So like some of these things, like I mean, I would say the majority of them, if the production houses, if the movie companies decide to scrub them, they will be lost forever. And I think that is very dystopian. On the other hand, like some of the things they can't take back, and they exist outside their control.
I think this means that we need to return to VHS tapes.
Yes, or Betamax. Even that.
Also, the fact that everyone has a recording device in their pocket now, you can basically save whatever material you want. And then, I mean, unless they decide that they want to copyright strike posting these censored clips on YouTube.
But I also don't know enough about copyright law to know this, but I remember back in the like LimeWire music downloading days, like there was enough stuff where it's like, well, if you clip the audios from a bunch of different files of songs and put it together as a new song, it's actually its own material or something like that.
Changing a certain percentage of it.
Yeah, so I wonder if there are workarounds with that too. Like you could copyright strike certain things, but there might be ways to preserve it and save it if it's really important. But we just don't know what we're losing is what's eerie to me. Like we don't know what they're going to choose to remove when we're not looking.
It bothers me because I can think of several movies off the top of my head that have like very bad language or things that would definitely never be allowed today. But the movie wasn't done with the context of hurting anyone. It's done to portray a character that has sensibilities that we in polite society don't agree with. And that's the point of it. It's art. It's not supposed to be looked at.
Do you guys think this relates to Amber Heard scenes getting cut from Aquaman 2?
No.
I think that's different.
No, I think
Is that adjusting to the sensibilities of society and censoring something?
And we will get into that later because we're going to talk about that in a future subject. But before we move on, do you want to talk? Was there super chats? Did anybody say
there
anything?
Were, yes. We got shot with money multiple times. Okay, Waffles Sensei says Brett, Dave, Mary, Hannah.
I think they meant
Hannah
Dane.
Claire.
Yes, you got.
No, but he's Dave from now on. Oh my
so
Dave.
We're now going to call Dane Dave
That
all
means
the time.
that all of you have to call Brett Branthovic also.
No, Dave is funnier. What did Waffle Sensei say?
You guys talked about Elden Ring a little. Was wondering if you guys wanted a Souls vet to help enhance your gameplay. Hit me up at user in our midst on Twitter.
Dane might actually
play with y'all.
Dane might actually be.
He might take you up on that.
Dane is definitely a gamer. I'm less. I'm actually. I play more like I collect vintage video game systems. I'm not one for modern, but I have like everything from Atari up to like a PlayStation 2. Okay. But I don't play a lot of modern video games. But Dane might actually be a fan of that idea.
Yeah, we'll bring it up to him.
Yes.
Good old Dave.
Cyber Gulag.
I wonder who that could be.
You're doing great, Brett. Sounds good too.
I think he said you're doing great, Brett. Oh, sounds good. Okay, all right. I had the comma in the wrong place there.
Yeah,
makes all the difference. Let me tell you.
It does.
I think Caper2X says, I wonder what could happen if we sit Hannah Claire on a dump tank instead of using the money shooter. Bravo Zulu for numero dos, guys.
Don't give us ideas. That's fantastic.
Brett,
really
I'm officially
idea.
announcing my retirement as your guest.
That is a
Don't scare her away, guys.
That is a fantastic idea. We should just come up with ideas for like those old Nickelodeon shows that would have like ridiculous things. We should just do
You're
that.
Gonna drop a bucket of slime from above, and I'm
that would be awesome.
I think it would be funny if we had like a meter, and at a certain point, like whoever is like just really either irritating the listeners or really like, you know, they like them today, something big happens at the end. But one thing at a time. I'm still flinching every time the money guns go off. So
you'll get used to it.
Okay, veteran.
And then some guy named Christopher Poole said,
wow,
these money guns are impressive. I mean, look, they're nothing special.
Did Chris did he trademark these? That's what I want to know.
That's
I'll need the programming behind this.
That's yes, they are quite impressive. And by the way, the money gets stuck in places that gets very distracting, like that. Yes,
they're just blowing in the wind.
Yes. All right.
I think we need more. I think we need more money on the table.
We're gonna work on it.
Okay, let's do it.
You can donate. And
no,
then
I'm busy. I'm in the middle of a live stream podcast.
Fair enough. All right. So here is basically Ezra Miller threatens cop with hate crime for getting his pronouns wrong. Yes, that is the world we live in now.
It's the weapon of millennials.
It is. It's like it used to be like a hate crime happened to you. Now they threaten you with a hate crime. So before we get into this, I do want to read because I was curious about hate. You would probably be better at this than most to be able to describe like hate speech versus hate crime laws, like because
I could maybe give you the legal definition, but I'm not saying I stand by it.
Okay,
in the U.S., isn't it the case that there's just no such thing as a hate speech crime?
No,
yet
you can get convicted of hate speech.
You what?
No, in the U.S.
In the UK, you can.
Okay.
I know in the UK
so
you can.
Hate speech, from my understanding of it, is supposed to be tied to like racially or ideologically motivated behavior.
Okay.
Right? So like hate speech in the U.S. is much more gray area because we have the First Amendment. Hate crimes are motivated by like animosity towards a certain group.
So I brought up the definition of the Wikipedia definition of hate.
Am I right?
Of hate crime. It says a hate crime, also known as a bias-motivated crime, is a prejudice-motivated crime which occurs when a perpetrator targets a victim because of their membership or perceived membership of a certain social group or racial demographic. Examples of such groups can include and are almost exclusively limited to ethnicity, disability, language, nationality, physical appearance, age, religion, gender identity, or sexual orientation. So remember, I think the most important part there is they mention prejudice-motivated crime, which occurs when a perpetrator targets a victim because of. So they're saying that you went out of your way to do this. Now, if you go back to this article, basically it says that Ezra Miller, this is from his last arrest. When he got arrested, he got handcuffed and then put in the back of the cop car, and there's two segments here. The first part is where the cop is handcuffing him, and Ezra asks him honestly, very respectfully, to please be careful with the handcuffs because he's like, I had my nerves and my hands damaged. So he said, yeah. So I'm giving him a little bit of.
When he was in New Jersey, he said these cops gave him nerve damage in his hands, and it is affecting his ability to play guitar.
He is a musician. We're going to talk about. He is a musician. He's in a band called.
No, we listened to
Look
the
how
music.
excited Brett is.
It wasn't that bad.
Okay,
it was not bad.
It's like generic.
Guys, you are drinking his weird Kool-Aid.
It's like
stop.
No, she liked his music. I said it was generic. It felt like early Cold War kids mixed with lameness. So basically, he gets handcuffed and he was like, look, when I was in New Jersey, I got arrested by cops who cuffed me too tight and damaged the nerves in my hand. I understand that you are not those cops, but please be careful.
Ezra Miller, who's been arrested on multiple occasions,
yes,
has preferences on how he is handcuffed.
Yes, he's explaining he's like, yes, I know that I'm a repeat felon, but please be careful.
So it's even like Yelp reviews of police departments. Their handcuffing technique, 10 out of 10 would recommend.
More police body cam has surfaced from the March incident. It says the footage starts with Miller in handcuffs complaining about pain in the wrists. Also, in every article, they say Ezra Miller is transgender, non-binary, and identifies with.
I thought he was gender fluid.
The they/them pronouns.
Where did you get gender fluid from?
From an article I read like 3 months ago when Brett made me start talking about this person.
If you're gonna make me talk about Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, I'm gonna make you talk about Ezra Miller.
Oh my gosh, mine is current events. This is like your weird fascination with a guy who's clearly losing his
This
mind.
article is from so whatever. You're wrong.
I don't mean to get angry with you on your first episode. Did you just wave your
I just waved you off. You're wrong.
You've been brushed off officially.
I could leave.
She
and
could
you'd have a really blank space.
That would be very awful. Please don't do that. I apologize. The footage starts with Miller in handcuffs complaining about pain in their wrist and telling cops that they need to be careful as Ezra is a musician and any damage to their nerves would be catastrophic to their music career. The things get even more tense as Ezra is being transported to the police station when one of the officers addresses Ezra as sir. I don't know if you guys remember, a long time ago in the early aughts, you could refer to someone as sir, and it was a sign of politeness.
And he says he's trans. They say they're transgender, non-binary. Oh my gosh, Ezra Miller, don't come for me.
Saying I'm not. Well, see, I actually got some comments from people when we first started covering him that were like, you guys shouldn't be respecting his pronouns because I kept trying to
That was what I was thinking the whole time. Because this person is going around terrorizing people.
I'm still trying, but I'm trying less difficult now because I'm like, if he can't even keep himself from cold cocking someone or throwing a chair at them, I'm not going to put all the effort in the world in to respect their pronouns. If you're a regular person on the street, I'm going to come at you with respect. But in this case,
he's wearing a tie. He looks masculine. The cop
well,
is trying.
You don't understand. He wears eyeliner.
But the cop's trying to be polite by using the term "sir." And
you know what his correction was? You should call me something. I couldn't even pronounce it.
Did he have a suggestion?
It was like
Mixer, like Winixon, but
instead of Mister. Which sounds like some kind of off-brand streaming service.
Well, Mixler is a thing. Mixler is a thing.
What is that?
It's like for streaming, I believe. If somebody can put that in the comments.
Can they issue a statement saying, Miller, please don't use our brand?
Please. I think they said Mixer, but imagine being this cop who's gingerly handcuffing this guy, puts him in a car, refers to him as sir, and he's literally being told that he's committing a hate crime, and this dude's just probably like, what?
Not just a hate crime, but a technical hate crime.
This quote, if you fail to do that again, it is an act of intentional bigotry, and it's a technical hate crime according to U.S. federal law. Ezra Miller, go to law school.
You know what? It's
even
crazier if he said all this while completely stone cold sober.
I mean,
I think he did. This is his personality.
It says, once at the station, Miller continues to complain about the pain in the wrist, but is much calmer than the drive over. Okay, so the part where he did the part where I thought it was that was first. I thought that was him getting arrested and then being transported. The calm part is at the end of this interaction. It says, the cop says he was only trying to be respectful, but Ezra continues, if you fail to do that again, it is an act of intentional bigotry and it is a technical hate crime according to U.S. federal law. Now, last time we were talking about him, he kept citing his Fourth Amendment rights. He
knows a lot about the law for an actor.
Yes. Maybe he's a spy. Maybe he's a spy.
Good point.
He could be a spy from Russia. Maybe.
Nah, he's just read a lot of random articles on the internet. Don't worry. Do not fear.
No, it's against U.S. federal law to call this man sir.
So also this points out
what a crazy reality we're in.
It is. Can you imagine being this cop and being like, I'm just trying to go to work, get home to my wife and kids, And this guy is accusing me of a hate crime for calling him sir and handcuffing him in a way like I feel like
also arresting it's funny that the guy who's like being arrested for breaking the law is like, hey, you're breaking the law over there. Like,
right.
I just feel like you don't really have a lot of respect for U.S. law, or at least Hawaii law.
I imagine that he's just like, well, that would carry a lot more weight if you weren't in the back of my police car. That is for sure. So. Thank you. So it says, Ezra Miller accused of music theft by producer and rapper. It was an extremely unethical and hurtful act. So this is where I learned about his music career that I was unaware of.
Next time I come in, you guys are going to be listening to his music.
Mary might be. So it says,
it wasn't bad. I
genuinely hopes for you than this.
And I don't like much music, but like, I'm not gonna say it was bad. Like that would be a lie.
This is how Ezra Miller brainwashes you. I guess
I'm like, I'm getting initiated into his cult.
Yeah, Jared Leto's gonna be so personality.
They could like merge their cults together.
No, that's too many.
Then they'd end up killing each other.
Yeah, that's how cults fall apart. They split.
So it says it's kind of like the NWO in pro wrestling. It became NWO Black and NWO Red.
That's exactly
what it was. And
that's 110% the reference I was trying to make. Thank you for understanding me so well.
So it says 2 musicians have accused Ezra Miller of stealing music that they worked on and releasing it without giving them credit. This reminds me of, do you remember when it was like one of like Aaron Carter like used like some like fan made fan art for him, or like did like a piece, it might not even have been fan art. He might have just downloaded it and like used it for an album cover. And the guy's like, could you please like take that down or credit me or pay me for my work? And he's like, F you. Like, that was like, that was a couple years ago. It says, I think it was Aaron. Who's the hot mess of the Carter?
Aaron.
Okay, then
although I'm not convinced the others aren't. We just hear about him more.
Yes. So it says the Fantastic Beasts actor has been in the center of a number of recent controversies. In April, Miller, who uses they/them pronouns, was arrested in Hawaii. Blah blah blah. We'll go down. It says speaking to Rolling Stone, music producer Oliver Ignatius spoke about his collaborations with Miller, alleging that Miller had published music online without credit or consent. Again, the name of the band is it was really interesting. It was do you remember what it was?
Sons of
an Illustrious Father. So he's like
so he's misgendering himself.
That's kind of
in
crazy.
the title of his band. Is he saying that he is a son?
As a son. S-O-N-S, I assume, not S-U-N-S?
S-O-N-S, yes, not S, yeah. So music producer Oliver Ignatius spoke about his collaborations with Miller, alleging that Miller had published work. It says, speaking of a decision to work with longtime friend Miller, Ignatius said, they were going through a scorched earth type fallout with their Hollywood career. They were severing many of their relationships in their life and seemed to be in a very dangerous spiral. So this kind of confirms secondhand what people have been saying about him, that he's going through a very rough patch right now.
It's odd that they're saying that in the past tense, like it isn't an ongoing situation.
Well, they're kind of crediting as like what's leading up to what happened. It says the pair met up in the mainland U.S. and Hawaii to work on the project, with Ignatius described as the work as like pulling teeth. We all had high hopes that it was going to be a project that was beautiful, that it was going to be meaningful for us, he added, but it really didn't pan out that way. According to the artist, he then worked on his music independently in making production tweaks and adding a verse from Philadelphia rapper, I believe that, how do you pronounce that name? Gaius?
Yeah, let's say it's that.
Guevara. I could be getting that wrong.
Say it with confidence.
Yes. On one of the tracks, says after regrouping with Miller after the actor's arrests, Ignatius said that they fell out over a song he had written regarding a female friend who was murdered by her husband. He claims that Miller threw an aggressive temper tantrum over the track's meaning.
He so would.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, he's the king of temper tantrums.
He's also the king of.
Or like getting offended on other people's behalf.
Or did I just misgender this person?
No. This is even funnier than that. So it says, they were completely triggered by the song, which totally freaked me out, because basic feminism is a really hard line, he said. If we don't agree that violence by a man against a woman isn't something worth speaking on, then we don't agree on much. Ezra's behavior throughout this exchange was atrocious, belligerent, threatening, and incredibly aggressive. I can't tell if he's saying, like, Ezra lacked the nuance of the song, or is Ezra saying that we need to agree on violence against women is bad, because there's probably no one in Hawaii committing more violence against women than Ezra Miller. So I don't know what
it sounds like that Miller didn't like the song, which apparently alludes to this domestic violence.
Maybe he felt like it glorified the events in some way.
It says,
let's try to have
That's
a charitable
you're like a fan of his music. You're trying to give this crazy person
yeah.
It says, after Ignatius quit the project, Miller then posted the unfinished music online, including songs they had not worked on at all. What Ezra did was commit an extremely unethical and hurtful act, said Ignatius. They stole from artists that have fewer resources than them, but maybe have art that Ezra wants. The person I thought I knew was a much gentler soul than the person we're seeing right now. It's been a very concerning journey. I don't know if this speaks to perhaps drug use or just general mental health issues. I would hope that it's kind of something that he can get on. They can get under control. But like, look, I'm trying. I'm not trying.
I don't know why, but
Brett is the most forgiving person
do your
on
thing.
this earth.
I have there's a far less chance that he's going to be a.
This guy said, I'm posting this just to say, if you're an Ezra stan, just know that the music they're involved in isn't a result of their own work, especially the song that has my verse in it. I don't know which song that is. But,
yeah.
See, I'm technically not praising Ezra Miller's musical talents. I'm praising the person he stole from.
Well, I don't know if that's the one we listened to. The one we listened to was older. The one I put on was older, so I don't know about that.
Unless more evidence comes out of plagiarism.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Does this surprise you that?
No, that this impulsive person did something impulsive. No, I don't understand, Brett. Like. Person acts erratically and selfishly and continues to all the time and has in the past. That's the headline you just gave me.
I'm just saying, like, I didn't know he was a musician, but stealing music seems right along the line.
I guess that does surprise me. It turns out he's a musician. Although I feel like, as Disney has proven to us, any childhood star could be a musician if they just have enough, time in the recording studio. So
yeah, enough modifications to the voice and everything like that. So, and I know it does not surprise you one bit at all. Nope. Well, I don't.
I mean, I'm curious about his tantrum and when someone's mentally ill, they kind of take something and run with it and assign a certain importance and gravity to something that no one else would. And I want to know what that was for him with the song. And maybe if that speaks to his own feelings about towards women that are causing him to maybe behave in a violent way,
almost panic in a way. Do you remember when kids were complaining about covering World War II, in aspects of World War II Germany, and they're like, we shouldn't teach this in schools anymore because it might trigger the students. And people are like, oh no, wouldn't that be awful if kids had to learn about something awful that happened in human history? That's what it feels like. Like he's triggered by just the idea of this incident, and thus is taking it out on the people he's working with.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Maybe he feels like it's accusing him.
Yeah,
I feel like he's a narcissist, so trying to ascribe any higher meaning to his behavior is really not worth it. I think that he's totally motivated by his own feeling and his own, whims and desires. And so maybe Mary's right. He thinks that this is sort of indirectly a comment on him, and therefore he was against the song or whatever. But it's almost not worth trying to assign a rationality to this, because it's so intensely internally focused.
I think you could be 110% right that it could be very much projection. He's kind of looking at it back at himself, and it makes him uncomfortable. Yeah. Which I can definitely I think that's the kind of the point of a lot of art in a lot of ways, is that it's supposed to make if it reflects something in you. Not everybody kind of has the ability to look at something and see that it's actually reflecting something back at them. Some people can just take art for what it is, but sometimes it can make you uncomfortable when you see something that reflects something inside you that maybe you haven't come fully to terms with. Mm-hmm. And if that's happening in the form of music, maybe that's if he's more emotionally high strung, that might come out in more explosive ways.
Yeah. So. I genuinely hope the best for him, but
as
I don't
want to
be in the same room as him.
Yeah. I don't wish anyone ill. We just don't support Ezra Miller. At least this part of the room does not.
My hope would be that he just doesn't hit anybody here if we ever ended up in the same room as him.
But that would be a hell of a story. Anyways, Caleb Sherd says, heard about the money gun from Tim Pool's main channel, Timcast for the win.
Yes, and it's getting fun. Like I can't not acknowledge it. Like they're like we were going back and forth when this first started, and we're like, do we acknowledge it that it's happening, or do we like? It'd be kind of funny to just pretend like it's not happening, but it's very hard to do that. Like,
well, I always wonder if it's like, did that person like what I just said? Are they agreeing with Brett? Like it's like this way that people interact with you now.
There's also the delay that you have to keep in mind, so they might just be doing it like for no reason.
So like I'm grateful for it, and I like that you guys have adopted the habit of being like, thank you, okay, keep going. Like, you know, we are appreciative for the support, and I think they're hilarious.
yes.
Yeah. Waffles Sensei sent another one. Dane, I am so sorry. I know your name. Forgive me, good sir. But now in solidarity with PCC, I will call you Dave now. I don't make the rules. I'm sorry.
He is now Dave. Fun fact, I got called Brent a lot when I got here.
Dane says rude, but okay.
Dave is so happy to be mentioned. He's just happy.
I'm sorry.
To be here.
Dave said rude, but okay.
We love you, Dave. We love you, Dave. I can't wait to see you at work later this week. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to feel so. And me and Dave actually talked about this once, where he said like, you can't pick your nickname. Like if somebody gives you a nickname that you really like, it never sticks.
Next time he's on the show, ask Dave/Dane, whoever he is,
Dave,
the nickname he has given me, because I can't even say it and it makes me laugh every time.
Yes.
It's not as inappropriate. I just literally cannot pronounce it.
Dane once told me a story. He's like, yeah, like somebody tried to give me the nickname Danger, and I was like, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then of course, because you like it, the name doesn't stick. Yeah, you can't make that happen. We have an employee here who calls me, who kept calling me Brett with one T whenever they would type it out, and I would roll my eyes and never say anything. But then finally, like somebody corrected them so many times that she now calls me Double T.
That's funny.
Which does not stick. Hopefully, thank goodness. So, all right. So Amber Heard is back in the news because this is like a classic episode of pop culture where it's just all horrible celebrities being horrible.
And we love it.
The problem is...
no, it does actually kind of plague your spirit, but I'm a bad person, so...
The problem is...
I like talking about evil things.
the problem is for me is I'm always kind of like looking for like more meaning in what we talk about. Like I like not because...
Sometimes you're just not going to find it.
Yeah, I'm always looking for things to be like, I need more than just hearing about how these people are awful to each other. I need it to be like a little bit for my soul, maybe just a little bit, to do this every day.
So what did you want more from Amber Heard?
Well, she does not deliver it. She makes it worse, but she does not add more. It says Amber Heard confirms reduced role for Aquaman 2 role as Mira. So some people might be cheering and saying like, hooray, this is exactly what we were hoping for. Other people might, Mary, you said you had somebody that who was a Julia Fox was like supported Amber Heard yesterday. There might be one or two people in every county in the U.S. that support her in this case.
But I think it's strange because I think anyone is more likely to see a movie when they can hate watch somebody in it. Maybe not you.
Yeah, I'm not a hate watcher.
That is kind of a thing. Like
I feel like I would hate watch something on, like I would hate stream something, but to go to a movie to buy a ticket, like
if you wanted to see it already,
yeah,
but then there's somebody in it that you just can't stand, I feel like that is a selling point.
Maybe.
I can't like hate, like I don't hate watch, like there's like a lot of channels that like do very well by like they watch shows like Batwoman and point out like how ridiculously stupid it is, and they're 110% right about it, but they look like they're like, I always feel bad for them because it looks like they're doing it because it's successful and it's fun, I'm sure, but it looks like they're going a little bit nuts because they're watching something that's so egregiously bad that it's kind of hurting their soul to just watch it. Batwoman was a show like that and stuff like.
Thank you.
Money,
maybe it's not even hate watching though. It's just if your name is in the headlines and it's more recognizable, people are gonna be more likely to see it.
So it says that Monday at the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial, the actress confirmed that her role as Mira in Aquaman 2 has been reduced, which is something said by other people previously. There was like rumors that they were gonna cut her appearances in the movie down to like 10 minutes of screen time. Among the rumors, it's been said that Heard's role would be reduced in the sequel depending on whether or not there is bad press surrounding her and Johnny Depp. Well, there's certainly press
I love that was a clause in the contract.
Was it going to ever be positive?
And how do they judge? Like, what do they use? Social Blade to figure that out? How do they judge the metrics on something like that?
I guess just the bots on Twitter.
Yeah. So it says in her testimony.
Is that why Elon Musk bought Twitter, to protect Amber Heard's?
He loves her.
To protect his e-girl.
He loves her that much.
I am honestly the biggest disappointment of this trial.
His secret baby mama.
Thank you for confirming my favorite conspiracy theory.
It's not even a conspiracy theory. I think it's just true.
What is it?
So she had a baby via surrogate in like 2020, 2021, and she's never revealed the father. And I am convinced it's Elon Musk. And he was called to be a witness in this trial. And I guess he's not going to take the stand. That's what it looks like. But like people are like, he may have to testify, because if he is like financially supporting her, like giving her child support, like all of that would come out. But alas, Elon Musk is not joining us on the trial in Virginia.
Space Daddy is not coming to Virginia anytime soon.
Well, maybe even if he was the father of the surrogate baby, he wouldn't be responsible for giving her child support.
I don't know
if that was like their previous agreement.
I don't know what their agreement is though. Like I really needed him to take the stand.
Yeah.
So it says they talk about like what the money she made for it. It's, Heard in her testimony, Amber Heard alleges that as a result of her troubles with Johnny Depp, that she wasn't wanted back for Aquaman 2, and that she had to fight for the role, which is something that she also alleges she had to do for the first Aquaman movie. Well, then how do you know? They
never wanted her around, and then she had to continue to try and get them to have her around.
Well, because her first appearance, I believe she was in the original cut of the first Justice League movie, but it was like a cameo, a glorified cameo. Then it would have been Aquaman 1, and now Aquaman 2, she had a 3-picture deal to work for them. And it says she made $1 million for the first Aquaman, $2 million for Aquaman 2, and this is really interesting, $200K for an episode of The Stand. I don't know how it is now in the age of streaming, but back in the day, an average TV episode, 7 to 8 days to shoot, maybe a little bit more for post-production. So it's kind of interesting that, or 6 to 7 days to shoot, a little bit more post-production. Like $200K for an episode of work. Sounds like good work to me. So it says, I fought really hard to stay in the movie. They didn't want to include me in the film, Heard says about Aquaman 2, which saw Depp's lawyer offer an objection for hearsay. Heard's attorney then questioned, we were ultimately able to get to film Aquaman 2, a very pared down version of the role. Yes. So she's admitting that like they cut it down, but there's a million reasons.
She's saying that yes, I was able to film, but it's not as much as I wanted to.
And I mean, I don't know if there's even a way to prove that is the, like, there's a million reasons they can give for cutting down a role. They wanted to take another direction. Another character needed more screen time. There's a million reasons that they can give other than just saying bad press. I think, what was it, over 3 million people had signed the remove Amber Heard from Aquaman 2 petition. And of course, as we know, there's literally almost nothing in the world less effective than a change.org petition. So beyond that, that's not even the most egregious thing we heard today. The most egregious thing we heard today was where she talks about how she did not pay back. She admitted in testimony that she did not pay back the money to the ACLU. So it says Amber Heard finally admits to not honoring her promised $3.5 million donation to the ACLU with $7 million settlement from Johnny Depp divorce, despite telling the UK High Court that she had. So is she not liable to like the UK to does perjury work the same in the UK? I have no idea.
Did she testify that she had paid
We
it?
should have Ricada Law on here. That would be fantastic.
What are you guys up to?
Maybe at the time she thought that she could honor it, and then found out later on that she couldn't.
Well, I think she said she admitted like she was having money troubles. Like, of course, if your work
it's all his fault.
It's not because.
And I don't know that you're actually obligated. Like, if you tell a charity you're going to donate a certain amount of money, like they do have like donor agreements and stuff like that. But I'm not sure like what the consequences are for not doing it, other than being,
I guess, just your reputation.
So it
which
says
is already trashed anyway. So.
Like Depp has objectively won the image war in this trial, like very much. Like Chris Rock, I pulled it up where it's like Chris Rock said like in like a recent piece, like believe all women except Amber Heard. Like holy crap!
But
dude.
I want to see it like played out. I want like the full ruling from the judge. Like I just, to me, it's not going to feel satisfactory any other way. And I think for Johnny Depp, like to have put so much online, I cannot imagine what his legal bills are like. Like I feel like, yes, it's nice that the public is supporting you. I saw this clip of like people outside the courtroom when his SUV pulls by, like giving him gifts and stuff like that. Like
that was really funny.
It must feel like he's gotten a certain level of vindication, but like again, I just want to see it all the way through.
Are you still planning to to go down to court this week?
Yeah, I hope so. And I want to go this week, and I also definitely want to go on the day of the verdict.
You should tell people what you're going to be doing here.
Okay, I don't know if we wanted to like soft launch that or just kind of do it.
As long as you're going to do it, that's I think you're good.
So our studio is like an hour-ish away.
More than that.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
It's a drivable
something like
distance
that.
From the courthouse.
Yeah. From the courthouse in Fairfax, and I want to go there and get the scoop on what's happening. Maybe catch a glimpse of Johnny or Amber, and definitely like get some street interviews with. Thank you. With the people who are there. I want to know what the support for each person is like, and
it will be hilarious. I imagine that it will be like, first of all, I think back to like women who like love serial killers, and it's like, who has the time in their day to just like, we're doing it for like, you're going to do it for work. Who the hell has the time in the middle of their day? Like they're like outdoor dashing, and they're like, you know what? I think I'm going to pop on over to the Johnny Depp trial and see what's going on. Like they leave somebody's food in the car because they want to go see Johnny Depp leave in his SUV.
Like, who is like,
someone's fries are getting cold.
Yeah, like
no, I feel like I want to see for myself, and I want to maybe have some contrarian takes.
Oh, you're definitely gonna have contrarian takes.
You know, just see what reactions I could get.
Your name is basically Mary Contrarian. That's
you can. I mean, if you're out there, you definitely like feel so strongly about the case that you want to see it play out in real time.
Yep.
So
it says that testifying on the stand Monday, Heard said that it was Depp suing her that kept her from fulfilling her pledge to donate her the entire $7 million settlement. So it's like, it's not my fault. I was awful to you, and then you sued me, and that's your fault.
He just keeps trying to keep me from doing the right thing. That's like the language that I'm hearing, which like
quit hitting yourself. Quit hitting yourself.
Has very strange connotations for like all the allegations against her, that she would just like degrade him, and there was like a lot of emotional abuse. Like once again, it's Johnny's fault, right? Like I don't know that's your best argument in court.
He has some other projects coming out, and I think what's really funny about that is like they're talking about, we're gonna get Rust finished. They're finishing the movie Rust, and they're like launching a new production studio with it. I'm like, but Johnny Depp can't get more roles, but you're gonna literally finish the movie from hell?
Is it now about the making of the movie Rust?
That's exactly what I said. I said they should just make it a Hulu.
That's what I think it is.
Hulu should do the job they do best, which is vulture in and make it and make their tragedy-riddled documentary about
that guy who did the Travis Scott, the
Astroworld guy.
The Astroworld guy.
That's what they need to do. So it says in court today, Heard said that she has yet to make the full donation because Johnny sued me for $50 million in March of 2019. I fully intend to honor all of my pledges. I would love for him to stop suing me so I can. Like it's kind of reminds me of like
this man is oppressing her.
He is hurting her very, very much so. It reminds me of like when somebody pulls like a prank on you. They're like it's like you tell them to do so. Like it's like when you like. What's the term for it? Like when two people say like the word at the same time, jinx. And then they're like I'll release you, and then like I didn't say when I'd release you. Like it's like that. It's like she's basically like, I said I'd pay. I didn't say when. And they sent her like a form to fill out that was supposed to be like a pledge form. That was, again, like we've only covered like the highlight, like the highest of highlights in this case. There's whole channels. Ricada Law was like Nate the lawyer. And Viva Fry have all covered this very much in depth. They're lawyers. They get it. We're kind of more. It's just like it's a weird moment in history that we're watching this play out in the real world, as like the general public, at least here in America, I can't speak for the U.S., has been more united on this than just about anything since we invaded Iraq.
I feel that's worrying.
Yeah.
I mean, even if we might be on the right side of history in this case, I feel like anything that we can be so united on at this time, it's just sus to me.
I get the suspicion. I will say that seeing a high-profile defamation case succeed, and that being said, would obviously, for me, that would mean that Johnny Depp has some reward, because it seems like he did have a financial loss from what happened, is really interesting. I think defamation is one of the major issues in our country. Project Veritas has sued New York several times. New York Times has been hit and gotten out of several high-profile defamation cases in like not even the past 2 years. I mean, I think with internet culture and the platform that having your own private social media, outlet gives you, defamation is going to be something. Defamation and libel are going to be something that we have to revisit, especially as it comes up against free speech laws. So I'm fascinated to see this play out. I get we don't want to feed into celebrity worship culture, but I do think what is legally at the core of this is fascinating.
It is weird how it's like anytime something goes too well for the public, you automatically get suspicious. You're like, I'm not sure if I buy that. I think that might be...
Anytime anyone's too excited about anything, I'm like, but why? Like when Elon Musk bought Twitter, I was like, hold on, let's. I hate to be the bearer of like, depression and bad news, but like, what's coming? And I hope he has some tremendous influence over the platform, but at the same time, like, there's always sort of another shoe that could drop.
They mentioned the general numbers here, so talking about the money. It says Terrence Doherty, the ACLU chief operating officer and general counsel, testified earlier this case that so far only $1.3 million has been donated by her on her behalf. So remember, who is it? Elon.
Like $1 million?
Space Daddy loves his.
I'm telling you, he needs to come through. Lifestyle.
Maybe he's just really into Aquaman and he like wants to like.
No, he's like really into Amber Heard, and I don't know why.
Maybe he
no, we know why.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, yeah, like I was like look.
I'm just saying we know that Elon likes
some blonde
weird bitches.
Every time like I see her, I'm like, I kind of get it. Like, might be fun to let her ruin your life for a while. It's fine.
And Johnny Depp is looking at you like, no.
Don't
He's
do
just
it.
kind of spreading his genes in as many like corners of the world as possible.
I think he's gonna publish a book in 20 years and being like, okay, here are the results of my study of procreating.
Yeah.
So there was also Amber Heard appears to walk back broken nose claim after seeing photo. So this is where like whoever keeps whoever's making the headline photos of her hates her guts because they keep finding just the worst.
Everyone.
My favorite was there was a meme earlier directly where it says this is my plan and no one can stop me, and it's her in the all gray outfit and then Dr. Evil in the all gray outfit.
She looked so Kim Jong-un.
Yes. So it says Amber Heard appears to have walked back her claim that Johnny Depp broke her nose following the 2014 Met Gala after the actor's lawyers presented photos of her looking uninjured the next day. So it's like, can you really expect
the powers of that friggin' Milani compact
that got released a year after she got
color
divorced.
correcting compact
that didn't even exist.
Did not exist yet.
But fixed her nose magically. That's like, where can I order that?
Or she just punched herself so it'll
a la
get
Gone
set
Girl. Okay.
back in place.
That could have been it too. So that is a very powerful compact. I don't need it, but you might want to.
I wonder
get
if
one.
it's sold out now. I wonder if Milani is like, this is our best selling product.
It says Heard was cross-examined by Depp's lawyer Camille Vasquez, who grilled, and is that the one that they think that he has like a thing with?
Yeah.
Yes. See, that's what they need to do. They need to make there's going to be a docu-series about this. There has to be. In fact, it might actually be too hard to do. It's too ridiculous of a case to make it any more ridiculous in series. Tiger King is not as ridiculous as this trial is becoming. It says Heard was cross-examined by Depp's lawyer Camille Vasquez, who grilled the actress about looking fresh-faced at an event after she alleged that Depp hit her in the face, leading her to believe her nose was broken. You can't live in the public eye and expect to get away with this.
Well, also let's look at that phrase, leading her to believe that her nose was broken. So, I got hit in the face with a softball when I was a kid. I can still feel like a bone that feels slightly weird. Maybe I broke my nose. I could say I maybe believe, but it's hard to prove that. She thought maybe is a very gray area statement. Was your nose broken? No. But I thought it could be.
Yeah. When I was young, I had so many injuries from skating that I just kind of assumed that stuff went wrong. But it was that's not the actual. I tore ligaments, but never broke any bones. The only bones I ever broke was when I played hockey. But when it happens very clearly. So, it's maybe...
I think by the next day, you're pretty sure.
Yeah.
Well,
you should know quicker than that.
Also, you're probably not going to she's photographed because she's out, at a public appearance, right? Right. This is a very strange timeline for her to construct. We had this fight, and then the next day I was somewhere publicly. I don't even understand what her game is. Does she think that, no one has photographed her the past 2 years? She's a slight narcissist.
That's hubris to believe that would just never come out.
And why is the allegation that he hit her in the face not egregious enough? She has to embellish and it's not helping her.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, it's like she's like it's almost kind of a sign that you're not telling the truth, right? It's like
adding extra details. It's like a giveaway that you're lying.
Yeah, it's like, and then this happened. It's
but the
like,
thing about narcissists is that they do not think anyone can prove them wrong. They don't have the humility to think like, oh, someone's gonna poke a hole in this story. And so I think that's why some of these claims get so like easily refuted. It's because she's never had to think that anyone would try and challenge them, because why would they? She's right.
It mentions
I'm dead at this picture of her. I didn't know that she was still like pulling out this compact.
Oh, here, yeah.
But here she is in her outfit from yesterday.
This is
still holding up the compact after.
Tell me they read Milani's statement in court. Anyone who doesn't know, Milani, the makeup company, after her lawyer was like, this is the color correcting compact she used, the company then released a statement saying, we did not make that product until at least a year after they got divorced.
And then like, this is cringe, but like some representative of the company went to the courthouse. I don't know if anything came of that or how they think a legal proceeding goes. But like, oh, you're here. Well, while you're here, we're just going to take you up on the stand and talk about your brand.
But I do think that like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it has to go into court documents, like for the judge or jury to consider it. Like, it doesn't matter if Milani's tweeting from 1,000 miles away. Like, especially if there's a jury, they're not supposed to read about it. Yeah. So like, they actually would need someone in court to be like, here is a letter from the company denying that.
I do like the idea that maybe they just start. She's like, this is my Milani, time traveling cosmetic that I brought back from the future to fix my this compact I used to fix my broken nose.
Also, like, I was waiting for her to be like, well, the thing is, they did not release it, but they were testing it out, and they love me so much that they sent it to me early because they thought that, you know,
or just say the fact, which is that
none of
you
this
had
happened.
well, maybe, but like you had a different compact, like a different brand that did the same thing. No. You don't have to say it was this brand that was released on this date.
Specific one.
The fact that she harps on these details that don't actually matter to the story show that.
I just want to see like what her defense lawyer is doing. Like, this gets like immediately smacked down and disproven like hardcore in court, and then they go back for recess, and the defense lawyer is like, tell me it again, but tell me the truth, Amber. And she's like, no, it is the truth, it is the truth, it is the truth. And then they go back up.
What she said is, this is what I'm talking about, a color correction kit. This is not obviously the exact one I used to carry, but I used to carry it with me all the time.
Yep.
But didn't her lawyer during opening statement say
she
literally said this specific one?
This Milani makeup compact. Like, my goodness. You guys have lost the plot.
That's really interesting. I didn't even think about that. I think the overt details is a sign that she's definitely like constructing it from not from memory, but a fabrication.
It's like if the parents go on a trip for the weekend, they come back and they say, well, what'd you do over the weekend? And you tell them literally hour by hour how you spent your weekend. They're going to be a little suspicious.
Like, I don't know if I buy that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I buy that.
Mom, Dad, it was this Milani color.
It was this compact.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I think that's actually a thing. There was a movie when I was a kid with Amanda Bynes called Big Fat Liar, where the kid tells he's just
a classic.
Classic.
And they dye the pool blue.
Yeah.
And that guy.
Paul Giamatti.
Yes, a classic.
That movie's fantastic. And Amanda Bynes was normal back then and not so not struggling as much. I love that. Frankie Muniz has been through the ringer too. He's like he had all those. He had a bunch of injuries. He had the like head trauma and stuff like that.
I think he just had a baby this year. Or
Did
like
he?
Last year. I think he's like a new father.
Yeah.
So maybe things are looking up.
Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah, classic.
Yes, absolute classic. Anything? Did anything come through?
Yes. We got one from this guy named Dave Font.
Yes, who is Dave Font?
My name is Dave, and my pronouns are Your Highness and or Dat Boy.
He's also the patron saint of White Boy Summer.
You're such a millennial, Dave.
He's also the patron saint.
We're throwing shade over there. Whoa.
I'm just saying Dat Boy was never funny. It was never funny.
Dave, I hope you're okay.
It was an animated frog on a unicycle. Like, that's not funny.
Oh my gosh, we're having some millennial Zoomer conflict. I just don't know how we're going to proceed with this show.
Mary, the other day, like she likes to make me feel like a boomer. She's like, I mentioned like using like there's like I use like 5 emojis because I don't want to look for. I have 5 emotions because I don't feel like actually looking for other emojis that fit what I'm actually feeling. So I just feel those 5 things, so I can use those same 5 emojis all the time.
You limit your emotions to be practical.
Yes.
It's more efficiency. Brett is like, I only have 5 feelings. May I offer you sadness, anger?
But she pointed out, she's like, I was like, you can't use crying laughing emoji. You can only use the crying emoji to
the tears
signal
streaming down emoji.
She's like, well, I was like, well, I can't use crying laughing emoji. She's like, well, yeah, because you're over 30.
You can. You get a pass.
I get it, like, which, of course, like my hip.
No one was expecting you to be hip with the times.
My hip immediately started hurting, and I felt like maybe it was time for a nap at that time. Thank you for that.
AARP PCC.
They sent me the card. They sent me my AARP card right then.
Caper2X says, Nate the lawyer, legal bites, Viva Fry, ask and you shall receive.
Yeah, so those are like, if you're like, for the people who are like I said, we work a lot. There's a lot to do during the day. Like, I feel like, I don't know if people, like, I was too young. I mean, I was alive, but I didn't watch the OJ trial when I was younger. I mostly listened to Chris Rock critique the OJ trial in the Roll with the New. And
what a fun way that we get our history and our news.
Yes. There's a great bit in there where he does like a thing where they have like OJ Simpson sit down for an interview with like a reporter, and instead of OJ Simpson, it's rap lyrics that fill in the blank, and it's all just really incriminating and hilarious. So it was those were golden times in society. So.
Those were all the super chats, except Dave is saying, how's that not funny? It's an animated frog on a unicycle.
To which
we said, here comes dat boy.
To which Mary says, like, you're not funny.
It's not funny.
It's not funny. All right, Podluck, and we don't have a theme song yet.
What is this? You guys have gone live,
get
but
on
you
it.
haven't
Just
written a theme song for the thing.
Send us your submissions, please.
That we've been doing for like at least 90 episodes.
Or we need to bother Carter about this because he totally needs more.
Yeah, because Carter has more to do.
Yeah, I'm sure he can fit it
Clearly,
into his plate. Yeah. All right, so it's Logan Paul is back in the news. Of course he is. It says Logan Paul confirms that he's suing Floyd Mayweather over millions owed from the fight. I was actually this is a little bit old. I thought maybe like I think he mentioned that he like we were gonna cover it and then we didn't because it was like
well, he was getting interviewed by TMZ Sports about it recently.
Yeah,
so that's why it came up again.
Logan Paul is kind of in the same category as like the Kardashians and now Amber Heard and Ezra Miller. That's like very easy to talk about because it's like no matter what side you're on, nobody will fault you for it. If you like him, people might be like, oh, that's kind of cringy, but okay. If you dunk on him, people are like, that's
I can't
that's cool
decide
too.
where I stand.
I don't know. Like, is he the one who went to like the place with the suicides happened and filmed it?
Suicide Forest. I don't know if we're allowed to say that word on YouTube.
I don't know.
It was him and his brother. I don't remember which YouTube channel it ended up on, but it was the Paul brothers amid that controversy.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, it was Logan who actually did it. Jake just, I think, no. Then Logan went back to Japan like a year later or something and just was incredibly offensive and screaming in the streets wearing a kimono.
Wow. Okay. That's
just being as annoying and obnoxious as possible.
So
in Japan.
I guess the problem for him then is like when he tries to rebrand in 10 years as something else, and then they're like, yeah, but do you remember that time you ran through the streets in a kimono?
I mean, what was the worst thing that Jake Paul ever did? I feel like Logan is more guilty.
I think that he had like one of them has a lot of trouble because like they had like some like version of a hype house where like all of the neighbors hated them because they were constantly
Team 10. That was Jake's thing, I think.
Too much for me. But what I was gonna say is I feel like their PR strategy is like not to apologize, but to just pile on even more stuff to distract you.
Just do more.
So like when you try and Google search to figure out their last scandal, it's like it's 8 pages deep. You're never gonna get there.
Yeah, and it's kind of working.
It's not working.
Yeah.
I mentioned that yesterday. I said like the most evil thing you can do is if a person is like a generally good person and they get one accusation made about them, whether true or not, that's going to be the first thing that comes up when you look them up on Google.
And there's not enough good deeds to distract Google. But if you do more weird stuff, Google's like, okay, fine, we'll kill it.
He was caught in a zoo trying to get into a rhinoceros enclosure.
And that's 50 links.
That's you just did some maybe we just solved the problem. Like
I'm opening my PR firm now.
If you get accused of something awful, just go do something really freaking weird. That's what you do from now on. Like
you just have to have a strong enough like personality to weather that storm.
Yeah. So it says in June of 2021, Logan Paul shocked the world as he managed to go the distance with all-time boxing great Floyd Money Mayweather. Yeah, if that fight had been real,
pretty crazy. Right?
I don't. I think they've since said that was like an exhibition. Like I don't think like if Mayweather wanted to drop him.
You think they faked that?
Why would Mayweather agree to like let someone?
No, I think that was totally real.
I don't know if I.
So we still don't know.
I still don't know if I buy
if,
that.
If people were betting
it's
on
basically
it.
professional wrestling in the
80s.
Do people bet on fake fights?
Well, people
how's
bet
that legal?
People bet on WrestleMania, in Vegas.
How is that legal?
I don't. Well, because
it's a predetermined outcome.
My guess is that if you work for the company, you're not allowed to.
That I feel like that's the equivalent of like if I were to go to a Broadway play and be like, okay, I'll bet this character dies. Mary, bet me $5.
I bet that Romeo and Juliet are gonna kill themselves.
I bet that they have a rhinoceros. Like you just bet on random things that could or couldn't happen. Is that how betting works? I'm not familiar.
I would just guess that the fight between Logan and Floyd Mayweather was real because it was so humiliating for him.
I don't understand what the benefit to Mayweather would be to like,
especially being like 20 years this guy's
senior. Doesn't he have a lot of money?
He's got enough money. Yeah, like he's got enough clout.
Am I wrong in thinking he just boxed like? Yeah, he's been boxing regularly. It's not like he's super in retirement. Right?
Mayweather's retired now, I believe.
Now, but like, wasn't he fighting Conor McGregor like within the past 5 years?
Yeah, but McGregor's not a boxer. McGregor's an MMA fighter. That was also like an exhibition.
Still though, he's making money. He doesn't have to lose to a YouTuber.
I think that was totally real, and I think it might just be chalked up to the age difference.
Okay, well, Paul's also bigger, way taller than Mayweather. Like, if you look at him next to each other,
really?
Yeah. So
rigged from the start.
So it says, even though the fight happened almost a year ago, Logan is yet to be paid in full for his part in the thing and has regularly called Mayweather to get his money. His brother Jake Paul claimed that the lack of payment would lead to legal proceedings, and now Logan has confirmed that that will be the case, and he'll be squaring off with Floyd again, this time in the confines of the courtroom. So we've got our next great American courtroom drama already building up. We are going the distance on this one.
Rittenhouse, Depp heard, and then this.
Yes.
What a time.
And then there was this one. He was like something Maxwell. That happened. I forgot that one already. Down the memory hole.
Bleep.
Yep.
Which is what she wants and Epstein wants.
Yep. Gelatin v Maxwell coffee, something like that. No, he is not paid in full. That is a fact. I'm short a few mil. Yeah, Logan told TMZ about the ongoing payment drama. I love the idea that he's just like, it's like a guy late for his phone payment every month or his car payment. And he's just gonna I'll have
Floyd
it in like a
Mayweather
week.
goes, if Johnny Depp would stop suing me, I could make this payment.
Yeah, but yeah, it was like if these people who sued me for my kimono stunt would stop suing me, I could make this payment. So it says the YouTuber was also quizzed about whether or not he'd spoken to Floyd directly about the lack of payment and confirmed that he hadn't been able to do so. Now we're taking this one to court. Yeah, we're taking him to court. See you in the courtroom. Thanks. She said court like 4 times.
Do you get like a $10,000 bonus from like the LA County Court every time he drops that?
He said, "Congrats, you're going to prison, Floyd."
Whoa! I don't know if that's actually what would end up happening, but
but I love that he just says the craze.
He can just
always
say
does
the most outlandish things, and you
can't fault him for that because everyone is just walking on eggshells all the time.
It's just like chaos PR. That's like what this is.
It also says that KSI is coming back to boxing to finally F up Jake Paul. Didn't they just do like a commercial? Don't they own like an energy drink company together, or is that Logan Paul?
Do they?
Maybe somebody in the chat.
I don't think they are because KSI and
maybe somebody in the chat knows that. Like I could have swore that there was like a viral video of them at like a grocery store. And like somebody asked for some, like I can't remember it off the top of my head, but like they go to a grocery store together, or like they're like handing out free samples at a grocery store, and somebody asks something, and like he like dunks on the guy or something like that. I can't remember it off the top of my head. Somebody might know. But so it says YouTube star says that he's making his return to boxing so that he can finally get his long-awaited fight with Jake Paul, but it won't be happening anytime soon. When the influencer boxing craze kicked off back in 2018, KSI was right at the forefront of things. The Brit settled his beef with Joe Weller inside the boxing ring. I remember that, and turned his attention to so maybe it was Logan Paul. So it says after defeating he defeated Logan Paul. It says, after defeating Logan, it seemed as if KSI was on a collision course to fight his brother Jake Paul soon after, though that didn't happen.
He didn't defeat Logan. They had a draw.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
In 2018.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
no, this
Jake
is
Paul
KSI
was fighting.
This says KSI hasn't fought since his bout with Logan back in 2019. So they have a rematch?
Yeah. But really he's just planning a rematch with Jake, because Jake was matched with KSI's younger brother, Deji.
Does anybody remember Celebrity Deathmatch on MTV?
Mm-mm.
No? Claymations. They made it was like basically like claymation wrestling of like famous people, and then they would fight to the death. No?
Claymation is an underappreciated art.
It is absolutely an underappreciated art. I can't believe you guys don't know. I am the oldest person here. I feel very old now. Thank you for that, guys. Do you want to do Doctor Who? Do you feel like, does it just depress you? We're gonna do Doctor Who. It's
not like I had a choice.
It's depressing. So Doctor Who cast trans actress to play the role of Rose. A very deliberate choice of name. So Rose, do you want to tell them who Rose is?
Yeah, Rose was the companion starting in New Doctor Who in like season 9 with what's his last name?
Eccleston. Eccleston.
Yeah, so she was in season 9, and now she is effectively getting replaced by a new Rose.
But they're not saying it's the same Rose.
It's not the same Rose, but it is, obviously on purpose that they have the same name.
The idea being that she had great chemistry with the 9th and 10th Doctor, I believe they say. And like the idea is that in the future, when people are talking about like, oh, I loved, the 10th Doctor and Rose, I love David Tennant's version of the Doctor and the relationship he had with his companion, they want to muddy the waters of like who you're talking about. And this is not going to be long term. I believe this will just be the 60th anniversary special for the show. So it says trans actress has been cast as Rose in Doctor Who. Yasmin Finney, who has also played Elle Argent in Netflix smash hit Heartstopper. So much of a smash hit that I
don't know what that is.
Never heard of it.
Smash it. Good job, Netflix.
Will join the show's 60th anniversary special anniversary celebration alongside the highly anticipated returns of David Tennant and Catherine Tate. The news also comes after the announcement of sex education star, what was it, Ncuti? Is that how you pronounce the name? Do you remember? Ncuti Gatwa?
Yep, I believe you.
Yes.
Was that what it was?
With confidence.
Yes. I believe that's what it is. So it's New Who under Russell T Davies. I don't think it's going to there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ooh, hello.
Okay, so it's like I don't have good feelings about Doctor Who just because Russell T Davies is back. I think the culture has shifted too far. I think there's too much value to them in virtue signaling. And the funny thing about this is like all you had to do was make a new character, and most people wouldn't care. But the name choice is so deliberate that you can tell that they're doing it on purpose, and that's a problem.
It's like I don't understand the motivation to just intentionally make a dig at the fans.
Yeah.
Where is that coming from?
They hate the.
Where is the contempt coming from?
There's like two schools of thought on this, and none of them are very enticing. One school of thought is that they actively hate you and they have a disregard for you and your sensibilities because they're at least in America they're West Coast elites. They find Middle America objectionable and stupid. The same. I don't know how that would work in the UK. I don't know if anyone's listening from the UK. Like I don't know how media companies out there interact with their, with the general population, because Hollywood feels like a very different place compared to the rest of the country. They call it California for a reason. That's a thing. Like it feels like its own place, and they really seem to look down upon Middle America. So some people believe that Hollywood hates you and that they're doing this stuff just to spite you. Other people, it's even worse. It's that at the corporate level, they don't give a crap about you, and that they just do this stuff because they think that this is what they're supposed to do. Whether you believe in the high influence of environmental social governance on entertainment now, that's dubious to prove because it's easy to make that claim just because that would explain a lot of why it happened so quickly. It didn't all happen over 20 years. It seemed like 2015, 2016 hit, like we said, and all of a sudden, bam, everything was awful. Yeah. So that seems like a reasonable example because that's about the time somebody would have to correct me on that. I believe around that time is when ESG started to become a thing as far as corporate as far as its corporate relation to your stock price or whatever. But the idea that the corporate that they just don't care, that they're just doing what they think that people want, and then like whether it does well or not doesn't matter to them. I don't know if either of those is a very enticing thing, but it's not reflecting reality for most of the world. At least I don't find it to be like particularly relevant to what you're actually going to experience day in and day out. It seems like more of a way for them to just be able to virtue signal, and all they had to do is just name the character something different. That's it.
Yeah, I feel like it's not relevant to them anymore whether or not it's lived experience. It's tempting to just say that they are, there's some exec there who's like, we need to update Doctor Who to fit modern society and modern standards.
Yeah.
And whether or not that's actually what modernity or what the general population feels, represents, or sees in their lives is sort of irrelevant. This is an issue, and it's a way for, on the 60th anniversary of this show, for them to stay relevant. It's clear that they are moving on with the times, and they don't feel the need to ask whether anyone really needs them to.
I will say that the actor who is portraying this character seems to at least show this is a very hard thing to do. It's like sometimes you get these writers who come in and they automatically start making changes and they want to make things different, right? Mm-hmm. But what I'm looking for is can the actor at least show general respect for the source material, and whether this was written by some press, person that represents them, for press releases, I don't know, but it says in a statement as per the Radio Times, the 18-year-old said, "If anyone would have told 8-year-old Yasmin that one day she'd be part of this iconic show, I would never have in a million years believed them. This show has a place in so many people's hearts, so to see a trans actress by the legend, to be seen as a trans actress by the legend himself, Russell, has not only made my year, it's made my life." I almost would have preferred that I make it part of I think you win a lot of hearts and minds by not making it a thing. By not talking about.
But that's the whole point.
I know.
Yeah.
Making it a thing is the entire goal.
I mentioned that in The Wire, I'm going to keep bringing those for the time being that
you guys want to know what Brett's watching?
We are harping on that.
It is going to be a thing where every time I'm rewatching something, it will become representative of my examples. But there are several main characters in that show that are gay. And nobody, it's never,
just a fact.
It's just who they are, and it's never preached upon. It's never used as an excessive story device other than the relationship drama that they have. Mm-hmm. And that's a beautiful thing. Nobody cared that, in the show, they didn't, at least from what I remember, maybe they did I fell off more in season 5, so I don't know if maybe that played a role more heavily in season 5. But in the first 3 seasons, you just know that these characters, that Kima is gay, mm-hmm. and her live-in partner at the time has a problem with her doing police work. So it's just, they're telling a story about somebody who loves another person who's scared about them getting hurt or killed on the job. And that's a very universally understood theme. Mm-hmm. Whether you're gay, whether you're straight, you understand the idea that if your husband or wife has an extremely dangerous job, you worry about the idea that they might not come home at night. And that tells a story that's deeper and means more than just surface level traits, which has become all of what Hollywood is these days. And it sucks because the writing is more nuanced back then. Mm-hmm. And now it's we have all this stuff coming out, and the writing might as well just be hitting you over the head with a particularly painful boulder.
Well, can I ask, are you a Doctor Who fan? Do you watch the
she
show?
watched it.
I
I'm not.
was
I don't
for a
care.
little while. I'm wondering if the writing in this the new episodes is gonna acknowledge that this actress is trans or not.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about.
Not the actress, but
the character.
The character.
Is the character Rose also
or are
transgender?
we gonna act like that's not a thing? Are we gonna mention it?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's hard for me,
really
just given their track
of
record, that any casting director would select a transgender character and not make it about transgenderism.
Yeah.
And I am not here to say whether or not that's wrong or right. It just seems that if they have the pattern is, will we select a transgender actor to tell a transgender story on whatever medium, on stage or on through film.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, this show has obviously run for a long time. It's sort of a staple production. I'm curious to see. Like,
it's not stable anymore. The ratings have been dropping heavily for a very long time.
I know, but it's like a staple like of a time period.
Yes.
It's really like been on for many years. I would be curious to see what I would be curious to hear what's going on in the writers' room and how this decision got made.
We talked about it yesterday with diversity, with like a diversity algorithm to build this stuff. Like, can you imagine the handcuffs of like having to worry about every single group you offend when you make something now, and actually expecting yourself to be able to create something beautifully and artistically and with meaning and expect it to make everyone happy, which is essentially what they're trying to do, which, as we know, is never going to actually work.
See, I feel like this is a 60-year-old show. I could understand that by, year 50, you're like, what haven't we done? What haven't we explored? And you're kind of grappling for new stuff.
That's kind of the time when you need to put it to rest,
yes.
which I know is a message you...
It's one I feel strongly
about, yes.
I feel strongly that you shouldn't just drag things out. But if Doctor Who has worked this long, like, I don't think it's because they have worked in identity politics. I think in some ways
it's aliens and in sci-fi. Like, that is not, like, you should not be suffering for creativity in a realm where there's very little handcuffs on your ability to be creative.
I will say that, like, I think that this could be, I don't know that this will open doors to new Doctor Who fans. Like, I think if they're trying to inspire a wave of young viewers to start watching it by having this, like, shall we say, trendy casting decision, I don't think that's going to work as a marketing ploy. I think people are not motivated enough by that. And there are other alternative shows that have already done it. I mean, I think of Euphoria that has like a lead transgender character, and that's, you don't need to borrow from their script. You need to stick to what you do well, which I think is just like science fiction and, exploring the realities of life through that lens.
Yeah. Yep. So I don't know. Like, this is one of those things where I'm not going to watch it anyways because I tried to watch the first 2 episodes of Jodie Whittaker and I don't care. I don't need to be lectured. I have a love-hate relationship with my job now because if I was able to do this job in like 2008, I would maybe be the happiest person in the face of the planet because entertainment to me was so good back then. And so,
but that's the thing. Like, if you had this show then, people would be like, "What's the crisis? What are you talking about?"
There is no crisis.
There was no
false
crisis.
advertising.
Pop culture comment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being happy.
What's so interesting about that?
See, I love to go
have to have
on.
something to fight against.
No, see, Brett's the opposite. Brett is like the ultimate peacemaker.
I want to go on about stuff that I actually freaking like.
Brett wants to forgive Ezra Miller for terrorizing
I don't
want to
forgive Ezra Miller.
He is an Ezra Miller apologist, and, that's okay. He's trying to see the good in everyone.
Respecting dudes' pronouns is not... Okay, yeah.
Dudes?
Dude.
Okay.
I said dudes in the generic.
You just have to use the full name, Ezra Miller.
That's a bench eventually what we'll have to do. So I was going to cover the Tim Roth one, but it's just so stupid that I just don't care.
Can we just cover the headline though?
Yeah. Okay, guys, tell me if you're listening, if you're still listening, watching. I want you to tell me if this sounds like a movie you want to go watch. Tim Roth to play amnesiac racist in Come Together with I Am a Boss. Okay, we'll do it anyway. So okay, so
sure?
This is one of those things where it felt like Mad Libs to me, and they're like, and then he gets in a car accident, and then okay, so it says Tim Roth-led Come Together is all the rage at Cannes Film Festival with Celsius Entertainment peddling it to potential buyers. The film that tells the story of a racist New Zealand resident played by Roth who gets into a car accident and saved by a Syrian refugee played by Hayam Abbas, I believe, of Succession fame. I don't know. I
Cannes
apologize.
Film Festival. More
Cannes.
like Canned Film Festival.
That used to be the pop culture or the Podluck theme song that would sing me.
Having lost the memory of his ideology, the racist befriends the refugee. Little does she know, however, that he was injured on his way to commit a terrorist attack. When she learns his secret, their relationship and the notion of redemptive change is tested. Look.
But he did not remember.
Look, okay. To be fair, we're getting paid back for like the 20 years where we did like nothing but Muslim extremist things on every cop show on TV. So like it's all coming back. Like that's everything that we did in America for a very long time. But it's like who actually reads that description is like, yeah, that's the one. That's what I'm going to go see on a Friday night. I can't wait to take my wife and kids to go watch this movie.
Do you take it your family? Do you
It's
take
so
your roommates?
corny.
Do you take a date? Who goes to see this movie?
But do you guys feel like this is a anti-cancel culture or something?
No.
If it's saying
No.
that
I
you can
think
have
that's
your
telling you
redemption
that-
arc after planning a terrorist attack. I mean,
No.
taking it a little bit far.
it's not
if you ask
anti-cancel
me.
culture. I think it's trying to tell you that like all racism can be renounced and that racial bias is not something genetic or inherent.
So if I tried to like, I could try to hate watch this, but it would just be like, it's just going to be a lecture the whole time. And it's not going to be new. Like I said, you can do these themes. I don't trust anyone making movies and television today to do them with any level of nuance that would approach incompetent. So
it's also, I don't know if this is
Written but directed by someone from South Africa, which I feel like would be a more interesting place to have
Yes.
this movie.
I don't know if this is like a nod to an attack that actually did happen in New Zealand.
Oh, yeah.
Because
I don't
it's
know.
about a New Zealand resident.
Could be.
But that's really distasteful if true.
Yep. If you want to watch something good that Tim Roth has been in recently, in Reservoir Dogs, obviously, but if we're talking about, he was in a show called Tin Star on Amazon, which I vaguely remember as being...
I watched a couple of those. I thought he looked familiar.
Yes.
It got convoluted, though.
Did it? Okay.
I remember it getting, like, weirdly convoluted very quickly.
Just go watch Lie to Me, which is a great low-key kind of like, it's about him being, he can like tell people are lying based on like facial expression. It's like micro, remember like when that was like all the thing in television shows, like micro expressions, like as if we can actually like process that quickly. It was a great show that was very, had, what was her name? Gabrielle Ramirez? From Chicago Fire, and then it has an Eli Roth show. So that was a very, very, very fun, far less preachy version of everything that's getting made today. So you wanted to talk about Courtney. Yes.
I did want to talk about
Kravis,
this.
Go
which
ahead.
is
Guys,
weirdly close to crevice.
Don't
and I
have
hate
any
it.
fear. Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker
Crevice got married.
they are legally married.
You should not be allowed to be known as Crevice. That is just creepy.
They're Kravis with an A.
Crevice.
Yeah. So we talked about a couple of weeks ago or months at this point that they had their what they called their practice wedding at the at a chapel in Las Vegas, and they would have gotten legally married, but it was too late in the evening for them to get a marriage license.
But it's okay. She dressed like she was in Vegas for her real wedding anyway.
I was really surprised by this fashion choice because
It looked horrible.
she
I'm
has
sorry.
never been married, and I was kind of wondering if she would want to do like a big wedding.
Yeah.
And instead she wears like a designer mini dress that has this like bleeding heart emblem on it. She has a hooded veil. Hooded veils are trending right now, so I'm not surprised by it. And yeah, they got married in Santa Barbara, and I find this
The kids weren't there, I think I read.
I'm
No,
glad about that, but it's like, again, how do you think these kids see getting married when you're literally in lingerie for your wedding day?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't exactly hold the sanctity of marriage in the highest esteem.
Why though? Like, I think that marriage is way more is about something much deeper than what you wear, right?
Which means that you shouldn't be wearing lingerie for it.
Why does it matter? Marriage isn't about like the wedding or the ceremony.
Because it's inherently a distraction.
I think of all of the people who got married in like suits and just like day clothes during World War II, right before like people deployed. I think that there's
look, that's cool and everything, but she's doing it to be distracting and extravagant and sexualized.
She is a sexual icon though. Like, you expect nothing less from her.
I can't imagine why.
Sorry. I think that like
fight.
I think that their marriage is this like very interesting thing, especially since initially it was contrasted so intensely to Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox, who I think are awful. And I'm curious.
They're just as cringy though.
I think they're way worse.
Kravis is?
No.
I'm saying Kravis is just as cringy.
I think that Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly are way worse. The thing that I find most interesting is that this time they have all of their legal paperwork in order, and I really want to know what their prenup is like and if they signed one. That's like what I am waiting to hear.
Headlines
about.
to come.
We can find that out later.
Just wait a few months, you'll find out.
When they get divorced.
Yeah.
And I want to finish up that. So it says Mac Miller's drug dealer sentenced to 17.5 years in prison for lethal fentanyl sale. So this is the one. There was the one previously who had been charged. This is, I believe, the next rung on the ladder. It says the top drug dealer convicted in the fatal fentanyl overdose of rapper Mac Miller was sentenced to 17 and a half years in federal prison Monday. The judge rejected his plea deal as too lenient and after he continued to sell counterfeit oxycodone pills even after the rapper's untimely demise in 2018. Well, yeah, like I'm sure it's not like the guy was going to stop by way of conscience when this happened, right? Like that's not how this that may work in the movies, but that's not how things work in the real world. So it says Stephen Walter, 49, has agreed to a flat 17-year sentence under a deal with federal prosecutors last October, but considering the bargain was below federal guidelines, is that like minimum sentencing?
I don't know what the minimum sentence
is. Is that what they're referring to? Like below federal guidelines?
Yeah,
is that being
it would be
referenced to minimum sentencing?
Yeah.
Okay. So it says, but considering the bargain was below federal guidelines and because prosecutors previously claimed that Walter continued to sell cocaine and dangerous pills known as blues leading up to his 2019 arrest, U.S. District Judge Otis D. Wright the second said that he couldn't accept it. And this is one of those things that's absolutely terrifying. I've mentioned it before that when I was I'm in recovery, and for me, pills were the things that I had a problem with. And one of the things back then that you could take some level of solace in was the fact that if you weren't using street-made chemicals, you knew generally what every dose you were going to get was. You could still have awful lethal combinations or drug interactions, but for the most part, you knew your tolerance, you knew what you were capable of. And you didn't know, I wasn't going to end up with a hot shot of something that was going to kill me. I was just killing myself much more slowly before I got clean. But to this case, I don't know if it's really possible for a guy like this to know that that's what he's selling. But the idea here is that it doesn't matter if you knew or not. You took the chance to sell these things illegally. You don't know where it came from, so you're responsible.
Well, and it sounds like they're implying that he found out that product he knew went to Mac Miller killed him, and then he continued to sell the same product, so he was aware that there was something off with what he was selling.
Yes. So it says, after prosecutors read a statement from Miller's mom, the same heartbreaking statement she submitted to the court for Rivas' sentencing in April. So it says, my actions caused a lot of, this is his statement, he says, my actions caused a lot of pain, and for that I'm truly remorseful. I'm not that type of person who wants to hurt anybody. That's not me. But on the paperwork where it says I continued to conduct in that kind of behavior after I knew that there was a death, that's not the truth, Your Honor, Walter said Monday while appearing in custody in the courtroom in Los Angeles. I don't know whether or not it was after you knew because no one can prove that you knew what you knew and when you knew it. So they're basically like saying, like, how do you know that I knew? Right? Like it's, he has a big name, but maybe he doesn't watch the news. Maybe he doesn't know, pay attention to stuff like that. How do you prove that? Says, but it's certainly after that. It says, I don't know whether or not it was after you knew because no one can prove what you knew and when you knew it, but it was certainly after the event. So they're just saying like he may not have known, but he definitely continued saying, and that's all selling, and that's all they can really go on. So I don't know. I as far as stuff like this, it's just heartbreaking that stuff like this happens. But there have been a lot of drug overdoses. The guy who played Omar in The Wire passed away this I forget his name, something Terrence K. Williams. I could be getting that wrong. He passed away from a drug overdose from something similar, from fentanyl-laced pills, I believe, just last year at the end of 2021, and he had a history of drug use. So you hate to see this, like somebody like me, I hate to see this type of thing prey on people who are very, very much vulnerable in that time. You're still responsible for your own actions, but to see what they're going through as somebody who's been through that is just heartbreaking.
Do you know what I wish?
Michael K. Williams, thank you.
Do you know what I wish? I was trying to find this first story today and I can't, and I wish the CDC produced a tracker of how many fentanyl and opioid related overdoses and deaths were occur on a monthly and weekly basis, because I think we talk about it as a crisis but not enough. And I won't say it because I know we're on YouTube, but like they track a different popular virus right now, and they give me weekly updates all the time. I would like to see it for something that is affecting a huge portion of the American population.
Absolutely. I don't know. That's usually I try to find something fun to end the show on, but
But instead, no.
that was not fun.
Well,
but
we can end on the super chats.
Yes,
that's very fun and lighthearted. Waffles Sensei added another dono. Dave, let's settle this in a duel at Raya Lucaria main gate. If you beat me, I'll call you dangerous. But if I win, it's Dave.
We might need to show that. They need to do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's another one down here.
Nope.
1,000-foot deep end says, "Here's $5 to the Podluck theme song fund."
Thank you.
Appreciated.
I personally really appreciate that. I've been on this show
will be realized
a ton of times, and I have always asked for it, and has yet to occur.
Yes, we're gonna work on it. We gotta start pooling our money together, if you will. Yes. So thank you to everyone who sent in super chats. It is awesome for you guys to engage with us, have stuff to say. This has been a lot of fun. Like, we're still getting the feel for all of this. Doing the show live is a...
thank you.
Well, we're not done yet. We're not done yet. It's
Nathan Koss says federal authorities don't care about drug dealers until they kill someone.
Totally true.
That's absolutely 110% true. That they, you're nobody. It's only important if if the person who dies has a name, which is interesting because I didn't hear anything. He said It was Michael K. Williams. He said that was the name of that actor who had struggled with chemical addictions his whole life, and it said that playing the character of Omar actually took a toll on him because it was part of the character to go through that stuff. So seeing that happen to him, because I'm a serial IMDb'er. That's where all my useless knowledge comes from. I see something interesting.
You're that guy that gets on IMDb while the movie's still playing.
Oh yeah. The movie is very much still playing. It's we're in the movie theater, and I'm trying to cover my screen. I'm so yeah. So but before we go, I just want to thank everybody for sending in super chats. Thank you very much. The engagement is awesome. We are going to be doing this every day, Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. I am getting better at navigating both streaming and doing the show. It was a lot easier when I was just running the podcast as a video that we made and then cut up. We're getting it figured out, so thank you for your patience.
Dane said, "I hope the Podluck theme never happens."
Classic
just
Dave.
For te meme.
Yes.
Of course you say te.
That's very early.
Te
2000s.
Penguin of Doom.
So guys, thank you so much for checking us out. Like I said, it's going to get more streamlined. It's going to get easier with every episode as we air these episodes live. So before we go, Hannah Claire, I just wanted to let you shout everyone out and tell them where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at hannahclaire.b. You can find me on Gab at hannahclaireb. You can find me on Twitter at hcbrumelo, and you can find me, of course, on timcast.com. Click on the read tab.
Should I read that one now?
You can. Yes, 2 more came in. You can read them, and this is if you guys want to just keep going.
Last call.
It's literally holding us hostage.
No, keep doing it.
Yeah.
Keep doing it. Caper2X says, "What about UFO or UAPs? Can we get Dave font abducted?" Cyber Gulag says, "Keep the show going till the computer dies."
Unfortunately, we cannot do that today. Hannah Claire's got work to do besides this. This is not even her job.
I'm responding to texts from our executive editor. I may just have to leave.
You're good.
Okay.
Mary, tell everyone where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram and WeChat at Closer Kitty, and I always promote my articles on the Timcast website on Instagram.
Yes. Again. Guys, I was trying to get Hannah Claire's attention. You can go if you need to go.
You just outro.
Guys, if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at Brett Dasovic. Like the video, please. Yesterday, Lydia said something. She's we had so many likes, but so many views, and you need to have the exact equal amount. So if you haven't liked the video, please go like the video. For the video, so on YouTube every day, Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. And the segments will be going up the following day. So the segments that went up today are from yesterday's episode, and then these segments will be put up onto YouTube tomorrow. So there'll be content all week. Not just YouTube, though. We're also on, if you want to listen to the podcast, if you're still doing that, if you're still doing the crazy version where you don't get to. Yeah.
If you're still listening on Spotify, what's your problem?
Exactly. So, but we are on Spotify. We're on Amazon Music and on Apple Podcasts. And I believe we're on Pandora as well. Also, social media. We are on Twitter at popculture_show. We are on Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis. And we are now on Instagram, which Mary said was doing much better today. And then as at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. We will be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then, guys. Bye.
Bye.